I decided a while back to just not think about any of that stuff. I definitely do not watch any videos of the band online because anything you could a band could be incredible, have an incredible show, sound great, and then someone listens or watches video of it on their phone, and the audio that's coming out of that phone has there's no subwoofers, there's no bottom end. The sound that comes out of a phone is so there's so much stuff that you hear in that you do not hear live, right?
Right, right.
So, especially when it comes to like pitch stuff, someone could be like 2 cents out of pitch, and on a phone, it's going to sound, oh my God, that sounds horrible. But live, you don't hear any of that. And it's
Right.
more, and people give up their performance aspect of it to try and be perfect.
Yeah.
And, it's great. If you can be perfect, good for you. But so many people miss out on that moment because they're trying to be perfect.
Candid with Kimbra.
How you doing?
Candid with Kimbra.
Telling ya.
Candid with
I'm really excited for you to check out this interview.
Candid with Kimbra.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I have a friend of mine. His name's Jerry March. He's a musician. And I worked with him on a gig, and I've seen him play a few times now. And he's in this whole other world that a lot of musicians are doing now with the tribute bands. And he's got two excellent tribute bands. One is called Wanted, which is a Bon Jovi tribute band, and the other one is Astro Yacht, which is a yacht rock band. The thing I thought was unique about Jerry is that he really uses technology to his advantage with the music that he's doing, and he adds a whole other spin to it. So I wanted to ask him how he got into the tribute band world and what were his influences, and just to get to know him a little bit better. It's really hard to make a living as a musician in Los Angeles or anywhere in the United States or in the world for that matter. So anything that we can do to expand our horizons, and if you love making music and performing, this is another avenue you can take, is the tribute band world. And that doesn't mean you can't still do your original music and improving on your craft, but you can make a living and work as a musician with these tribute bands. So I wanted to explore this world a little more and talk to my friend, Jerry March. So I'm really happy, Jerry, that you're on my podcast today. This is Jerry March.
Happy to be
And
here.
yeah, he's like, I keep teasing you that you're like so entrepreneurial, right?
I would fit that label. I would fit that label.
Were
Yeah.
you were you an overachiever in high school, like, or growing up? Or are you one of those guys that, like, you were kind of a slacker, and then when you became an adult, you were like, I'm really gonna kick butt?
My 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 high school years were different than most because I was going to be a pro hockey player.
Really?
I was drafted, and that time everything was
Wow.
hockey. 24/7 was hockey. Even in my summer job in hockey was riding as a bicycle courier in downtown Toronto. So I would ride my bike probably close to 10 miles to work, ride my bike all day long, and then on the way home from work, stop at the gym. This is all in my draft year and trying. So life just through high school, everything was hockey, like a good Toronto Canadian boy.
Wow, that's so interesting. And so that's why you're in such good shape today.
Well, I mean, I still play hockey. I'll probably play till they put me in a box. It's funny because everyone has, or I think everyone has some place where everything turns off, and that's where hockey is for me. It's like when I'm playing hockey, I'm not thinking, probably so I don't get plastered into the boards, but
Sure.
it's just it's my gym, it's my release, and it was my first love, and it was my whole life growing up. It was all about hockey until I stopped, and then um, I just it's just it keeps me sane, put it that way.
Well, were you doing music at the same time, like in
Yeah,
junior high, high
yeah.
school? Yeah.
Yeah, I started playing drums. Drums was my first instrument, and I started when I was about 14. I was a late start for most musicians.
Mhm.
And then in juniors in hockey, it was it got to the point where I was taking 7 pain pills in the morning to get out of bed. Like, it was just, my body was just taking such a beating. And I'm not, at that time, you really needed to be big to play in the NHL. And I was not big, and it was a battle. And I just decided at that time, I can't do it anymore. And at the same time, someone had offered me to go on the road with a band playing drums. And I just made the call and went, never turned back.
So you went right from like you finished high school and then you went, or did you finish high
Correct.
school? Yeah.
Yeah, I did finish high school. Yeah. In Canada, we have what's called grade 13. At least we
Uh-huh.
did then. I don't know if they still do, but so grade 13 is kind of like the first year of college. So I went through to that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you're from Canada because, there's like out here in LA, or sorry, California or United States, I guess, there, most people don't know about hockey that much, but I always joke that,
You'd be
oh,
surprised.
really? Well, like,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
'cause I don't know about hockey.
Listen, there are a lot of guys in the NHL coming out of Western states, but most ironic one is on the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is basically like the New York Yankees of hockey. Their best player is from Scottsdale. It's
Oh,
it's
that's interesting.
crazy. There's guys from LA that are actually doesn't or more who plays on LA. There's definitely when Gretzky got traded out here. I don't know if you know who Wayne Gretzky is, but when
Sure.
Gretzky got traded to LA, that's when kids started playing hockey out here, and it all started blowing up since then.
Yeah,
So
and our
yeah,
mutual friend Chris, he's on your
yeah,
hockey team, right?
yeah, we
And
play hockey together. That's how we met. That's how I met you. Yeah.
yeah, and that's so funny because like hockey just seems. I think oh, you know what? I just remembered this. I sang the national anthem at the Forum for a Canadian hockey match, and I had to sing, the national anthem. But then I'm trying to remember. I know I didn't do the Canada one.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I was just gonna ask if you did. Yeah.
I don't think I did because I would remember that because I would have because I was so nervous because I had to do this. It's a cappella, and I remember at the time thinking I'm going to go way up too high. So I had this little pitch pipe in the little booth they put you in, and I'm all,
I was,
"Ooh."
yeah. I mean, now people wear in ears and they probably have something,
Yeah,
whatever, in their ears. But
right,
back then, I always wondered how people like kept in key or even heard themselves or,
right.
it's to do that in such a big echoey room and you got to be hearing your voice bouncing off the walls like that.
Yeah, I
I
was
got asked to
so
do that a couple times and I said, no, no, no.
I
Thank you, but no, thank you.
know. I know.
No
I
way.
was so nervous. Like I said, because I was really young and I just thought, oh my God, I'm going to go way up into the stratospheres and I'm going to, but it was fun because they let you, the forum club, and you can bring people. That was your payment, like we bring people for dinner and stuff. So it was kind of neat.
Yeah, that that place was crazy. I remember the forum. Back, listen, when I first moved out to LA in 93,
Hmm.
93, 94, and the Kings weren't anywhere near as popular there as they are now. You could walk the way the old forum laid out. You could walk behind a curtain and you'd be in their dressing rooms, right? Like that's the security was so minimal back then. People they just didn't know, right? So yeah, it's changed so much. But I can only imagine what that would have been like singing and like it's funny. I noticed like you talk to so many musicians, and you say like whether they're nervous or stage fright. I get way more nervous singing for two or three people than two or three thousand.
Oh, sure.
Like
Yeah.
not even
'Cause it's more intimate, right?
the intimacy of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the nowhere to hide aspect of it. It was kind of like in COVID when people were doing the live streams, and we got asked to with Wanted, we got asked to do a couple of them and then I would go and I checked, what other bands had done online,
Hmm.
and unless it was done really, really well, it did not make the band look good. It's kind of like doing live TV. If you've ever played on live TV, it's so the sound quality is horrible. It's changed over the years, but in most, like if you go do like a morning news program, like I remember we were playing somewhere in New Mexico, I think, and they had us go on. It's when I was doing disco, and they had us go on the morning show to do a song, and everything is so compressed and there's no room noise. Those studios are completely dead, and they don't know how to mix a rock band. It's
Right.
a morning news show, right? And it
Right.
would sound horrible,
Oh,
horrible.
no.
So when the people were doing those live streams, you've got no one had any experience with that because no one had done them before. It was all almost a new thing and everyone was trying to figure out. I eventually, heard a couple of them that sounded pretty decent, but most of them did not. Like they thought, oh, this is going to help advertise your band and make your band look good. And that was not the case because I know bands that were really good that did it and they sounded horrible because they didn't know the technology, they didn't know what to do with it, they didn't know how to mix it. It's like anything else. Repetition is the mother of skill, right? right? So
Yeah.
we were glad we didn't do any of those. We just waited it out. There's a lot of waiting, a lot of waiting.
So now, after you, decided to go on the road with that band, you said you were a drummer. What happened to that band? Do you still stay in touch with them, or they were just?
Oh, that's crazy because one of them reached out to me through Facebook about a year ago,
Yeah.
and and he's like, "We're gonna do a reunion show." I'm like,
We're getting the
"Oh,
band back
okay,
together.
yeah, we'll put the band back together." I haven't heard from him since, but I never heard
Oh,
anything after that. But he sent me a recording from that tour that we had done. We were just basically playing bars and playing covers,
right.
and I listened to it, and it was like my first one, and I was like, "That's not so bad. I'm like, not too bad." For it's amazing how the ignorance is bliss aspect comes from young performers. Like when I see young bands
Hmm.
playing now, and they're so, especially with the social media environment they're in, everyone's afraid to make a mistake. Everyone, they're so concerned what other people think.
Right.
The the innocence of a young band not knowing any better, not knowing what's right, what's wrong, what's good and what's bad, and they just go for it. Oh my God, it's so awesome to see. I've seen a couple young bands like all with where all the band members are under 20,
Hmm.
and the rawness of it, and not worried about if it's in perfect pitch or the tempos like moves around or anything like that. That's what creates a great performance, right?
That's
It's like
true. That's
so many acts
true.
now, they want it to be perfect, and that's not necessarily what's going to entertain someone, right?
Well, that's true, and it's not rock for sure, or rock and roll or whatever falls under that umbrella. Because I get that way sometimes too. Like I'm always worried about I gotta my pitch, my this that, and when you're doing it live stuff, that kills the spontaneity of everything, right? When you're so in your head.
Yeah, I mean, I decided a while back to just not think about any of that stuff. I definitely do not watch any videos of the band online because anything you could a band could be incredible, have an incredible show, sound great, and then someone listens or watches video of it on their phone, and the audio that's coming out of that phone there's no subwoofers, there's no bottom end. The sound that comes out of a phone is there's so much stuff that you hear in that you do not hear live, right?
Right, right.
So, especially when it comes to like pitch stuff, someone could be like 2 cents out of pitch, and on a phone, it's going to sound, oh my God, it sounds horrible. But live, you don't hear any of that. It's
Right.
more, and people give up their performance aspect of it to try and be perfect.
Yeah.
And, it's great. If you can be perfect, good for you. But so many people miss out on that moment because they're trying to be perfect.
Because pop music, it's a whole different animal. It's like about entertaining, not so much being perfect.
I have such immense re respect for people who sing opera, people who do Broadway. Oh my God, the talent involved with Broadway. People that do a lot of the type of things that I don't do, that I can't do, and at all. I know my lane. I I have experience in my lane. I feel I'm good in my lane. But I've always grown up like growing up, coming up in the 80s, there was so much about the performance and entertaining and the show. One of my first influences was David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth was an incredible showman. Was he a great
I
singer?
love David Lee Roth.
Was he a great singer? Yes. People don't say he was a great singer. He was a great singer. He had great chops. He lost them eventually,
Right.
but he had great chops, and he was also so inventive. Like his voice was so unique. The stuff he created, that the scream he did, no one had ever done stuff like that before, or at least not in popular music. So it's not. There's so many people that are excellent musicians but not excellent entertainers, right?
True.
So for me, it's always been about, I always want to entertain people. It's always been a give them something to be entertained. And listen, there's musicians who entertain incredibly and don't jump around and go crazy and do crazy stuff. They're just entertaining because of the energy they have. John Mayer is a perfect example. Putting his incredible talent aside, he's a great entertainer just because of the vibe. His vibe he has, people find him
Sure.
entertaining.
Sure.
There's a bunch of artists like that. You don't have to be pink and hang from a wire from the ceiling to be entertaining, which
Right.
although that's crazy entertaining. But give people that something that they leave that place, that the money they spent for their ticket was worth it,
Yeah,
and
no. And
especially for go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying, I totally agree about David Lee Roth because, I remember I had a little debate with someone about that. It was like, oh, well, Sammy Hagar's a better singer. I'm like, no, but David Lee Roth, that combination of him and the Van Halens was just like, because he, he brought the showmanship into. I mean, Eddie was like a showman too, but he was so entertaining, and he would come up with those lyrics. He said a lot of times just in the studio, just kind of like off the cuff,
He was another one that, like, ignorance is bliss. He didn't care about what people thought. He just did what he did, and he was a great businessman. He knew what show business was.
Sure.
He was the one who created the logo. Like, he created the merch. Like, that band was a perfect storm. It was like napalm. The fact that someone with Eddie's originality and talent came together with someone like Dave. I don't, whenever asked me about the Sammy versus Dave thing, it's apples and oranges, but just
Right.
two very different projects. Both are incredible, but both are very different. I
But
cannot compare the two.
Sammy, yeah, he's a little, I thought it was a little boring to me, but that's just me. But
Everyone had their thing, right?
yeah, and then David Lee Roth is one that said we got to use Van Halen because that's the name, and he was right about that, So
It was just like I said, it was a perfect storm. I mean, like, those types of things are, it's like when they say generational talent. There was just there's the biggest disadvantage that artists have now from a rock and roll perspective is that, and it was the argument back in the 70s too. It's all been done. Well,
yeah,
everything's been
sure.
done. You have to reinvent yourself, and it's whatever's unique to you, right?
That's
And I remember seeing, it was so ironic. I saw an interview with Nikki Sixx, which had to be early 90s, late 80s, when they had changed singers, and he goes, I'm just waiting. I'm so, like, all this type, because they said the new album was so much different than their own. He goes, I'm waiting for the next big thing. I know there's a new kind of rock coming, and it's going to come. I'm just waiting for it. And then the next thing you know, Nirvana hit. It was just like,
Well, that's true. Yeah, it's always
yeah.
a backlash too. Like, if it's overproduced or over commercial or over slick, I guess, then the backlash is, grunge. So it's always like, right?
Everything goes back and forth, right? You get too much of one thing, then everyone's going to want the opposite of that, right? If it got too polished and too produced, then you give them something raw.
Yeah, that's true.
You could make the argument about politics, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna
Everyone
say.
wants it one way, and then they go on it the other way.
Right, right. And it was
Human nature.
funny. I was talking to somebody I think he's a little bit of a music snob, and I was like, yeah, I like Motley Crue. He's like, oh, is that your dirty little secret? I was like, no, but I do. I find them I like all music, whatever's entertaining to me,
Yeah,
so.
it's whatever makes the hair stand up on your arm. I mean, it's whatever makes someone want to turn the volume up on the dial. Like, it could be anything. And that was one thing that I noticed from the younger generation coming up now versus when we came up. It was very clicky. You and I would both, I'm sure we would agree that it was very clicky. If you were a rocker, then you weren't one of the dance people. If you were a new waver, you weren't the punk people. Like, kids today, they'll listen to everything from Lizzo to Frank Sinatra, and if it's good, they'll listen to it. And then
Yeah,
that's a open-mindedness that is really awesome to have, because it
yeah,
only helps you. My daughter, she writes songs, writes incredible songs, and she sits and listens to Joni Mitchell and Fleetwood Mac and Billy Joel all day, and she listens to, like, I'll hear her playing something that's like obscure 70s stuff. She goes, yeah, I've been listening to that for forever. So the bigger the net you have, the better quality of fish you're going to catch, right?
yeah,
So
I agree.
if you close yourself off, you're especially from a songwriter perspective, your options are limited.
Yeah, I know. I was just talking to someone that I had on the podcast from Gibson Guitars. I was telling you about that, and we were talking about Joni Mitchell and how I personally didn't appreciate her till I was older, because the sophistication of her songwriting, was different than I was used to,
Yeah.
So it's, but I love all music, especially now. I mean, I try to listen to classical once in a while. I can't listen to it too much because then I get bored, but I do try to listen to it. And then I listen to Broadway because I, teach musical theater sometimes. So, and to me, Broadway is opera's the hardest. Then it's Broadway. then
Yeah.
everything else kind of falls underneath. You know?
I would agree with that. It's funny because Delilah's my daughter's Delilah. She's a big Broadway fan, and I hear her playing this stuff, and I hear these singers, and I go, "Oh my God!" It's just like stuff I could never do if I could practice 12 hours a day for 12 years straight, and I could still never do what some of those people can do. It's
Yep.
just incredible.
Well, the thing about Broadway is that you have to sustain the notes for a really long. That's when the pitch. Well, that's when pitch is important, right? But you have to sustain the notes for a really long time, and then there's usually a level of acting that's involved with it too. So that's what makes it hard, and sometimes dancing, the whole thing. But
And intricate lines, like
yeah,
intricate lines. It's
I did a show
amazing.
once. It was a charity event, but it was a big production with. I had to do a number from Company, which is a Stephen Sondheim musical. And Sondheim is known for within the Broadway circles as being one of the harder uh, composers, because
Mhm.
he repeats the line. He repeats a lot of stuff, but in just a little bit different the second and third time, just slightly different. So then you're like, you're thinking it's going to be this way, but then you have to remember, oh, it's slightly different. So you're like, you
Oh
have to
yeah,
practice it over and over again. But anyway, so yeah,
yeah,
so
that's cool.
yeah, so Delilah, she's writing and singing and performing like more what you'd call an older style, or is it just completely?
It's newer style. I mean, she has her influences. Like she's a big Lizzie McAlpine. She likes Phoebe Bridgers. She likes Taylor Swift. She has definitely elements of that, but she also, because of what she's listened to since she was a kid, she brings those elements into her songwriting. And I think, listening to people like Joni Mitchell and Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that, her maturity, her musical maturity gets faster. It's like when you say you don't like Joni Mitchell, you didn't get into it until you're older. You mature musically just like you mature in life, right? So as your
Mhm.
maturity gets better in music and you get to understand stuff better or know what it takes to do something, then you go back and you listen to certain stuff like the Eagles. I did not get into till later in life because of how the intricate harmonies. I went started listening to these harmonies and realized, oh, wow, and then you just start listening to it and you enjoy it more. And of course, all classic like stuff that's older, it reflects to something or memory in your childhood where you were when
Sure.
you remember played it or heard it. Um, but the musical maturity is what makes you a better artist for everything. Performing, I have so many like life hacks, for lack of a better word, for performing because I've done so many shows, and you just learn those over by trial and error. You get better at it as you screw. The more you screw up, the better you get at it, right?
Yeah,
So
and you definitely have a really good work ethic, 'cause from what I've observed of you, right? And so I wanted to ask you about technology because I know you incorporate a lot of technology. Let me just backtrack a little bit because you're in several different bands, right?
I have I have
I
several.
see a shirt.
Yeah,
Asteroid.
I figure I should pimp some of my stuff out.
Yeah.
So I have right now mainly three projects
Right.
that I work, and the long standing most established one is called Wanted. It's a Bon Jovi tribute. We've been doing that for over a decade. Played all over the world doing it. It's my main gig. The other full band show is Yachts, which we started I want to say about a year and a half ago. Fairly new. I came up with the idea because we were doing wanted shows and we were doing flyouts and we'd be flying out and we'd be flying far places and we'd go do one show and fly back home. So, and it's another side hustle. You always need a side hustle. So I
Yeah.
created the show. Yacht Rock obviously was is popular, and I wanted to give it a little different twist. So I gave it a more of a modern twist. When I created the tracks, there was two things that are a hurdle when I talk to agents about Yacht Rock is that the Yacht Rock bands were established. There are a lot of people in the band. It's expensive to fly them, to house them, and then also I wanted to kind of modernize it and give it more of so I've created the tracks, and some of these tracks have EDM beats underneath them. I created some banter in between. We have a mascot that's called C3PO, and I sell it SEA3PO, and he'll talk to me in between songs. And I've created full video for all the shows, so we have full video, synced video for all our shows. So the we definitely have not taken it. I don't do things half-assed. It's like these are all pro shows that we work really hard at, and they're very slick and they're very polished. So I created the Astronaut show. When we go fly out for these wanted dates, and because the Yacht Rock is so different than Bon Jovi, we could do the Yacht Rock show on one night and then do Wanted on a second night, and it's worked out great. And we've done, a lot of shows where we've even done privates where we've combined the two shows. You wouldn't think the two would work together, but it actually really works well. We'll do the Yacht Rock stuff, and then later in the night, only on privates, of course.
Yeah.
And then later in the night, we'll mix in some of the Jovi and some 80s stuff, and you become more of just a straight up party band, and the clients love it. It's just more value for the dollar.
Yeah, and I know all the guys in your Wanted band, which is the Bon Jovi tribute band. They're all the same guys in the Astro Yacht band.
Yeah.
How were they? Was everybody on board with that? Or
Sure.
Oh, that's great.
Sure. Oh yeah, everyone was on board. We've been very fortunate that the core four of us have been together since the beginning almost, and then we do some shows as a four-piece, and then we do some shows as a five-piece with a keyboard player. And Brad, our keyboard player, he's been with us for well over 5 years. So we all get along great, and everyone all of us are pros. We've never had drama with anyone doing stupid shit. And we all know that this is a job first, but we also in the same thought, we know that it's a show, and you got to put on a show, and you got to entertain people.
Right. So even if
we've been very fortunate that way.
Even if there's drama going on, you guys can put on a brave face.
Right. Yeah. I think more of the drama happened in the 20s. That would be more.
You stole my girl.
Yeah, I don't know about any of that, but we've done with Wanted. We've done a bunch of cruise ship shows.
Cool.
And one time we were in port in Puerto Rico, and we had usually when you do the tribute, the cruise ships as a headliner,
mm-hmm.
for us anyways, and all the tribute bands, you'd fly into New York, you get on the cruise ship in New York, and then you go down into the islands, and then you get off and fly back to LA from the islands, and another headliner comes on in the islands for the trip back.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were in Puerto Rico, and Gons, our bass player, and I decided to go out for the night and just go have a couple drinks. And we I think we ended up in a few bars, and then we got back to the hotel, and that was the one night that we almost didn't make the flight back.
Really?
Other than that, yeah, we've been good. Other than that, we've been good.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
we went into the thing with in Puerto Rico, all of the bartenders, they're super nice, super nice, and they're really nice. Try this, and it had been a long day, and I don't think we ate much, so
right. That always helps, or does not help?
But we made it.
So you got Wanted, the Bon Jovi tribute band. You've got Astro Yacht, which is Yacht Rock, and it's so funny. Some people to this day still don't know. Like I've mentioned Yacht Rock before to people, and they're like, what's that again?
Yeah, it's funny how people have different opinions of what it is.
Right.
There's a documentary came out on HBO a little while ago that talked about Yacht Rock, and then there was people who said, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's not what it is."
Right.
In my mind, Yacht Rock is basically anything you would have heard on AM radio in the 70s and early 80s. Anything that has like a laid back, mellow, soft, rocky kind of vibe to it. But the thing is, it stretches because people would say, like Toto is Yacht Rock, but they also had rockers too. Like they didn't just do Africa.
Right.
And so it's. People. It's funny. We had this one client who called us Yacht Rock adjacent. So it's in my mind, it's a vibe, it's a feeling. We do costumes with Yacht Rock costumes, but we even do our own little twist on it. And instead of doing all white, we started when we first made the band, we were doing all white, typical like a yacht vibe. Now we're dressed in all black, trying to be more of what we are, because we're like I said, we put the rock in Yacht Rock, right? So we're a little more high energy than some of the other yacht bands.
Like, I've seen you perform, and so I know that you are definitely more high energy than what I would. Because I saw another band. This is during COVID. I think they're called Yacht Crew, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they're doing awesome right now. They're
yeah.
doing awesome.
And they were much a little more mellow. So you do add an extra twist to that whole thing.
Yeah, it's just different. We actually, it's funny because we headlined the Happy Face Festival with Wanted in Simi Valley in the summertime, and the guys from Yacht Crew came out, and we were talking to them, and they knew about Astroyachts, and they were awesome. They were there like that. Good for you guys. Keep yachting. I think Chuck had said when he said
Keep
it.
yachting.
But yeah, super nice guys. I mean, listen, there's people in. It's funny. The tribute world is interesting because we've when we play festivals and stuff, and there's multiple tribute bands, you get to meet a lot of the bands. We've played with a lot of them, and you'll get the majority of them super nice people and great and easy to get along. Then you get a few of them who think they wrote the songs, and
Mhm.
and it's it's interesting, that dynamic. But
I mean, they start getting a little delusional about that.
Oh, totally, completely. We played a festival once, and it was a tribute band. I'm not going to say who they were. And we were supposed to share a dressing. I won't even say a dressing room. It was a dressing tent.
Okay.
And and Steve, my guitar player, and I had gone in there to get changed, and he goes like, "You guys can't come in here. We're the headliners and this and
Oh
that,
my
and you guys need to
God.
get out." And we just looked at each other and said, "Are you kidding me right now?" And we're just laughing. We just thought we thought he was kidding. It was just like, all right, whatever, dude. Um,
That's
so
so funny.
it's that's just not us, not even close. It's funny because here's the funny story. We did a show at Talking Stick in Scottsdale,
Uh-huh.
and we were I think we were the headliners on it. There was a couple other tributes band, but the opening slot of the day was the winners of a local radio station talent contest.
Hmm.
Well, lo and behold, the winners of the local town talent show was a Bon Jovi tribute band.
Oh, what a
And so,
coincidence.
um, they were, I know they were like, I don't know if you call it nervous, but they were like concerned. And I was like, dude, go do what you do. And I actually called the singer for our show and the headliner. He was still there, and they were in the crowd from when we played. I called him up on stage to come up and sing with me. I was like, this life's too short, man.
Well,
There's no
you seem
reason
like
for
you
any
have
of
a
that.
very easygoing personality. Maybe it's because you're Canadian.
Maybe it's because we're Surrey, eh? No.
Right.
Yeah, I I don't take myself too seriously. I try not to take things too seriously. But I do take my job seriously.
That's
I
good.
mean, it's
No,
like,
I noticed that you're very, oh yeah, what I was going to bring up before was, okay, so you add a lot of technology to your shows. Do you like technology? I mean, do you like all the, because I know you edit too, you're a really good editor. So do you enjoy doing all that, or do you just do it because it's necessary, you know?
the easiest connection to describe that is I enjoy anything that makes the show better.
Okay.
And which I should mention too, the third project I have is called OMB, and
Mhm.
it's a which you've done with me,
Mhm.
which is it's basically me singing and playing guitar to tracks. So it's like a one man band. It's a little different than and you would attest to this. Same type of thing with as what I did with Astronauts. I'll take songs that are like a normal version and create a different version of them. So a lot of my tracks are they like I'll put an EDM beat under I Can't Go For That or something.
Mhm.
Like I've
Mhm.
got certain songs where I've done that. Try to make it a little bit different. So the technology where technology comes into play, um, if it makes the show sound better or look better, I'm all about it. If it's deterring the end result or it's muting the performance and making people thinking about it too much that they're not performing or making the performance less than that, then I'm not a fan of it. But it depends on the environment because there's certain bands that would do really well with technology. Like I would never I don't think I would enjoy a Foo Fighters show if they came out and played to a bunch of tracks and they were locked in, that's just not them, right? So
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
it just depends. It depends on the act. Depends on the act.
That's true. Now, what does OMB stand for?
It's funny. The easiest one that people would probably think is one man band. And I called the show OMB instead of just saying my name because I thought if I get in a situation where I'm double booked, I can put someone in to sub for me. and it doesn't. OMB is still showing up, and they're not looking for Jerry, right? That hasn't happened yet, but you know,
One can only hope.
yeah. I know a few guys that do something similar to what I do, so I think it would be easy to branch out with that. Just the demand hasn't been there yet.
So, I wanted to ask you about coming to LA. So, was this the first place you came after you left Canada?
No, actually, I went to Florida first. I wanted to come here first for obvious reasons, but I didn't know anyone out here.
Mm.
So I went. I drummer that I had known in Canada moved to
Hmm.
Florida, and he said, come on down and stay with me for a little while. So I went there first, and played in two or three bands there, and then I was there for a few years. And then at 8 o'clock at night, I remember this like it was yesterday. At 8 o'clock at night on a Wednesday, sitting on my buddy's couch, and I just decided to pack everything I could into my Honda CRX and drive to LA. I left at that moment. I said, I'm going, I'm doing it, I'm chasing the dream. Um, and never looked back.
That was very spontaneous of you.
Spontaneous. Some could say brave, some could say stupid. You could pick all three. I just did it because it was I felt like that was the place that I needed to be if I wanted to be real about it. The ironic thing, the ironic thing is it happened right when grunge hit, and I was doing 80s rock type of stuff,
Right.
and my hair down to here, the whole poser thing going on. And I get to LA and I go to the Roxy and all the Sunset Strip clubs, and they were all dead. Like the time of that music had passed, and grunge was just starting. All the rock clubs were shutting down, and I had got there, and I was I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I started cleaning pools. I mean, and then I just
You were the pool
had to
boy, Jerry the
reset.
pool
I was
boy.
Jerry the pool boy. Yeah, it was what it was.
Oh, wow.
Um, but it's and if anyone asks my advice as far as like when you're doing stupid or crazy or brave stuff like that, you got to do it while you're young, when you're not locked down to things, or you don't have things against me. Like my daughter's chasing her dream now, and I would never ever tell her not to do it. I would never ever. It's I would The one thing that is the worst thing you can have in your life is regret. That's the one thing you can't fix. You can't fix regret.
True.
You can't go back. So um
I remember when I was like 19, I always wanted to live in Europe, so I did it. I went, and my mom luckily was very supportive of it, but I just was like, I'm going, and I went, and it was like, when you're young like that, you just have a lot of nerve usually. Not everybody.
yeah, I guess this is going to be the phrase of the day: ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah.
If you don't know any better, then honestly though, Kimbra, if you were who you are now, even if you were who you are now, but you were put inside a 19-year-old body, would you have run off to Europe? I mean,
Hmm.
you'd think about, oh, I have this responsibility, I have to
Oh,
pay
yeah,
this
yeah.
bill, I have to do all that. Like, you wouldn't do those things, right? It's like that's why, that's the time to do it. The only regret, I don't want to say regret, but the only thing that I would suggest to people now is be prepared. Like, if you're going to go do something like that, learn your craft first. Don't half-ass it. Learn everything you need to do. And if you're going to try and market yourself, know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah.
be
I
armed, with the knowledge, be armed with, don't be spinning your wheels. That is the one thing that I wish I had been more um, knowledgeable of what I was doing and trying to make it happen.
Not spin your wheels. Yeah, I wasn't as knowledgeable about marketing and stuff when I was younger, but maybe it wasn't as, it was always important, but it's not like now where everybody's branding and, social media and stuff. But when I was
It's a
young,
different world.
yeah.
It's such a different world. There's so many, like, when people ask me about raising my daughter, I'm like, and I'm a single dad, the I cannot compare to how I was parented. She's growing up in a completely different world than I grew up in. The 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 knowledge available drastically improved. The accessibility to things drastically improved. the amount of stress due to people seeing your lives so much worse, the amount of expectations so much worse, the amount of the fact that they're not able to make a mistake because everyone sees the mistakes they'll make, and so they don't want to take the chances on things.
Does your daughter ever talk
There's
to you
so many
about
different
that?
things.
Does your daughter
Oh
ever
yeah,
talk to you about that, like the social media? Like, does she feel pressure about stuff like that?
sure, absolutely. I mean, they all do. I mean, she has one of her good friends has 10 million Instagram followers. You don't think there's
Um,
pressure behind that? Oh my God.
mm,
It's like I said, it's just a different world. It's a
yeah,
different world.
yeah.
Not. I don't want to say better or worse because that's for some people it's better, for some people it's worse. But it's definitely different. Definitely.
I would say that one thing that's harder for people that are like teenagers to young, early 20s is financial stuff, though, because I feel
Sure.
like unless you really, really make it big, it's going to be harder to um, be financially solvent.
Yeah. But
Or,
that was the same when we grew up too. It was just a different dollar amount, right? I mean,
well, but I mean, I did some smart things when I was young. I was weird and about finances, I mean, but.
thanks for stipulating.
No, but then I ended up making not dumb. I did some good. My mom was really good financial, like she was good savvy about money. So
Mhm.
I had a good role model. But what was my point about all this? But I was capable, we were capable of doing, like I bought my first condo when I was like 23,
Good
because
for you.
yeah, because I knew because my mom was really good about stuff like that. But it's so much harder. Like unless your family has like a lot of money, it's just so hard for people to buy real estate, and and I think it's harder for people to do. I don't think I'll ever do better than my parents did, to be honest, unless I really make it big. There's
Yeah.
still hope, but I don't feel like kids nowadays, like I said, unless they really have a lot of help from family, will it's harder financially, right?
It's definitely harder. But I mean, everyone's different, right?
Yeah,
It all depends on how driven they are. Depends
that's
on,
true.
sometimes it's just luck. I mean,
That's true.
and sometimes a lack of help is a motivator,
That's
right?
true. That's true. I
So,
mean, I agree with that. But then, some people just are not motivated no matter what. So I
yeah,
feel everybody's
yeah,
different. I mean, you seem very motivated, but I have friends that are not motivated.
yeah. I mean, I'm motivated out of necessity, I guess, because
Yeah.
the lights
Well,
have to stay
probably
on.
because
You
you
got
want
to.
nice things and you want a nice life.
Well, listen, I don't think doing what we do, or making a life as a musician, uh, it's not like the path you choose if you want to be rich, right? I mean, if you want to be famous, you choose that path. But as far as
Right.
like a working musician, it's not choose to be rich. That doesn't mean you can't make, I'm very proud of the fact that I've been able to live my adult years and make music my living. So does it have times when it's difficult? Heck yeah. I mean, there's lots of times when it's difficult. Sorry, someone's ringing at my doorbell. I'm just gonna ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. Thank you. Um,
There's your butler right now.
yeah, my butler Alexa. Um, so it's out of necessity, but you want to, if you can do for your living what is also your passion, you win, right? So, um, but you have to love the process. When my daughter was younger, she wanted to do acting, and um, I'd always told her that you have to love the process, because if you're just waiting for that, you know, time when you have the big role or it happens, those are few and far between, right? At
I
least
think that's
for the
really
first
good
while.
advice. That's really good because I,
Um,
I tell people that too. Like
yeah,
if I had a daughter or son and they wanted to do acting, I would say only do it if that's you can't do anything else because it's just way too hard.
yeah,
Don't do it like half
yeah.
assed.
Music's no different.
Yeah.
Anything that there's a ton of people that want to do what you do, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's like, you know, uh, that's why you don't see, a huge cutthroat, accounting divisions. You want to be an accountant, you got a job. You can just learn how to be an accountant, then you can be an accountant. But if you want to make your living, performing in front of people and making records and going on tour and doing all these things, then you're going to have a lot of competition. And I listen, there's people who have luck and they have good fortune and they meet the right person at the right time. But even if you get super lucky and something great happens, if you want to maintain it, you have to work your butt off and you have to enjoy that work. If you don't enjoy doing that work, that is work, then you don't win. You don't win.
That's absolutely true. So let's see. I was going to ask you, is anybody else in your family musical? Like, do you?
No. Well, my brother was, but he's passed. But and it's weird too because I didn't even know he was a police officer, and I went home. I moved to LA. I hadn't seen him for probably 3-4 years,
Mhm.
and I go back to Toronto to visit for the holidays. And I go, my other brother, I have two brothers, and my other brother, he says, we're going out to a bar. I'm like, okay. And we go in the bar, and my brother's the singer for the band that's playing. And he was great. He was really good. And I was just like, I didn't even know you sang. And he just,
This is your
I didn't.
brother, and he was the singer of the band. You didn't even know he sang.
Nope. He was never a singer. He was always a cop. He was just not like
Ah,
I didn't know that he was, mind you, I had been moved away for a while, so he didn't start until he was an adult. But yeah, that's the only connection to music. Everyone else in my family, no connection.
they're tone deaf. No, except for your daughter.
I don't. Oh, my daughter drives me crazy. Natural talent, like perfect pitch. She says she'll hear me practicing something. When I'm trying, like Tennessee whiskey. Oh my God, trying to learn that
I
vocal line
know
of
that.
Tennessee whiskey, right?
Yeah.
And I'm practicing it over and over, and again she goes, "What's going on there?" I go, "It's hard." She goes, "Yeah, whatever, dude." And I go, "Can you do it?" And she goes, "It's perfect pitch, dead on, first try, did it."
Yeah,
It's
a
she's
friend of mine,
definitely got natural talent.
I get together with these other musicians sometimes, and this one guy always sings that one song. And
Tennessee whiskey.
yeah,
Yeah.
um,
It's funny, like Chris, what an incredible talent. But his obviously there's some R&B background to him, but his note choices are so like I want to. The only thing I can say is non-chromatic, and I don't know. Trust me, I do not know theory. I just mean like it's these notes that
who are you
fit
talking about?
perfectly.
Who are you
Chris
talking about?
Stapleton, the guy who sings Tennessee
Oh, Chris,
whiskey.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Like these notes are not a typical chromatic
Right,
scale that you would follow. He's following these very different than that. Where mine, if I'm singing a scale, you kind of fall into certain notes, and I
right.
wasn't falling into any of them, like the ones he's picking.
Huh.
Um,
Well, he's got a
uh,
natural bluesy kind of husky, bluesy voice.
Oh, incredible voice, incredible voice. If you want to hear him sing live, look up Austin City Limits, him live at Austin City Limits. Oh my God, the hair stood up on my arms when he opened his mouth. Incredible talent, incredible, incredible.
Wow, that's so awesome. So what kind of what influences did you have when you were growing up? Was it more just rock, or did you like listen to everything when you were like, teenage years?
I listened to a lot of rock, and then I also my guilty pleasure, so have you or what have you, would be funk, which
Really?
is which is what drew me into doing the disco stuff later on.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
We got to talk about. I forgot to ask you about that.
yeah. Oh my God, that was a
How
crazy
old,
10
like
years.
when were you in your 20s when you were doing that?
No, no. I want to say I'm so bad with this. When I first, it was like pretty close to when I first moved out to LA. No, yeah, a little later. So I know the Y2K New Year. I was doing disco
Hmm.
in Vegas, so I know it was maybe 5 years before, 5 years after, somewhere around that. So
Hmm.
around 2000.
Hmm.
Um, I bought my house playing disco. I remember going to see. Like around 2000 was the peak of when there was a point where there was there was a company called Perfect World that was the the band called Boogie Nights was the first band doing it,
Hmm.
and the the whole vibe was it was rock guys playing disco, and I remember going and seeing who's a friend of mine that he used to come and see us when we were playing in Vegas too. His name's Scott Soto, incredible vocals. But
Jeff
he
Scott
became,
Soto, is that what you said?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So he became the lead singer of Boogie Nights when the main guy stopped doing it because the company got big. So he was doing that and brought Jeff in. And there was another singer actually before Jeff who I did work with as well, um, who was named Wayne Fontenot at the time. Anyways, long story. So
I
I remember
digress.
going to yeah, I remember going to see them in Vegas at the Rio and standing in line for hours. Like they were the biggest ticket in Vegas at the time, and and it was incredible. Like I walked in there, I'm like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And so I just started looking into who to um, go audition for or whatever, and full full circle. I mean, this band called Queen Nation is a Queen tribute that is in our circuit, and their manager Dave Hewitt was the guy who got me to who I auditioned for way back then, and who I work with now. It's just
Hmm.
and it's crazy to be honest, but so I started auditioning, and I ended up playing in a couple of different um, disco bands, and then I started my own, and Wayne, the singer who was in the main Boogie Nights band and went off and did his own thing. So then I started working with him. And I mean, I've done probably five different disco companies of doing shows. And basically the thing was is that with any of these companies, you have everyone learns the same show. So I would be flying to Texas to do a show, and I would walk in the door and play with three guys I've never met before. And you
Hmm.
would just play the show because everyone knew the same show.
Hmm.
Um,
So it's kind of
but
like
when
a franchise in a
It
way.
was a franchise,
Yeah.
yeah. At with Perfect World, I think at one point when it was at its peak, Perfect World had 60 bands across the country doing the same show. Jamie who was the head of the company made so much money, so much money. But we all did. We all did until and what happens with all of these, the theme, the decade theme type
Right.
stuff, it gets really popular, and then it gets really big, and then you get, well, the weekend warrior bands who people who do music part-time, or they just do it for fun, and they strap a wig on and they go do it, and
Mm.
the venues who just don't care how good the music is, they just want that thing,
Hmm.
will go and book a band for little to no money, and then it brings the price tag down for everyone.
Right.
So it just basically it played itself out. I still do some disco shows every once in a while. I did a couple this summer. Um, so much fun. Oh my God,
I
so much fun to do
know.
this
Yeah,
thing.
because I think I told you I saw one incarnation. I don't know if it was yours or whoever's, but in West LA somewhere. And it was really popular for a while because all the ladies like to go dancing.
Yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. And it was always packed. It was always packed. Up until the very end when it all filtered out.
Hmm.
I mean, we did the Y2K we did in Vegas, and we played at what was the Monte Carlo, now it's the MGM. Um, uh, the we played a high rollers party upstairs for 2 hours, and then we went down into the showroom and then played a whole other show downstairs.
Hmm.
And it was awesome. We had so many great moments doing that, but the funnest thing was just doing the show. It was hard from a vocal perspective because you're singing a lot of girl songs. Like I was singing out of my range constantly,
And
constantly.
plus, you kind of dance a little bit too, right?
A little, oh my God, a little. I remember my calves, because you're wearing platform shoes, right? And then you're dancing the whole time. And I
Right.
remember all of us in the band, we even through rehearsals for the first 6 weeks, our calves hurt so bad
Now you
that
have
we
women
would.
feel most of the time.
Right, right. We had a whole new respect for how women have to wear high heels. Yeah, it was definitely, it was great to get out of the comfort zone and do something completely different, and to get good at it. We work, in all the bands. You had to. There was choreography. There was dance choreography in every song, and especially for the guys. I was singing, so I was fronting. I wasn't playing an instrument. The guys playing an instrument, it was like one of these, right? They're trying to play especially the bass players playing these intricate bass lines and
Sure.
doing all these dance moves at the same time. I
Oh
mean,
man, that's hard.
it was hard, and
Oh,
you had to, but the people loved it. People
oh, that's
loved it.
awesome. Yeah.
It was so
That's
much fun.
really, I have a newfound respect for, I always, love the bass, but I was trying to learn it and sing and play the bass for this thing. And I was like, I was really having a hard time. I could
Yeah,
do
that's
key- I could do keyboards and sing. I can do guitar and sing, but bass for some reason it was really hard. You know?
it's the way to have a respect for something is to learn how to do it right. Like when you learn how to when you're starting to learn something and like for me with it was that with OMB because I was never really a guitar player. I mean, I played a little bit of acoustic with Wanted and with bands over the years, but I was never really a guitar player. So with OMB, I had to become a guitar player. I mean, had to play some leads. I had to play, sing and play at the same time and learn tones, like guitar tones. Oh my God. I my respect level for guitar players went from here to here. I mean, it was just there's so much going on and so many intricacies and subtleties and
Well, and even to
right.
sing and then to sing at the same time, it's hard too, because a
You
lot
said
of
no
times.
coughing, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, yeah, nice. No coughing. No coughing. um, but anyway, yeah, because most guitar players, I mean, there's exceptions, but most guitar players are not the great lead vocalists, but there's exceptions. I mean, I'm talking about the virtuoso guitar players.
Mhm.
But like, I guess Stevie Ray Vaughan, he was a good he was a good singer, but he was more.
Incredible.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't want to generalize. But anyway, singing singing and playing guitar well is hard.
Yeah, and to still perform, right? Because
Right.
if you're thinking about both and you have to concentrate on both, you're not performing, right? So
Yeah.
it's got to be at a place where you're comfortable. You have to be comfortable with both, or you don't do it. Um,
Now,
but that's what makes great performance.
out of all your bands, which one's your favorite? Is it the Bon Jovi or is it?
I'm going to take the politician answer. Um, they're all super fun right now. I shouldn't say right now because anytime where the crowd is most into it is my funnest because I have times when like we definitely played a bigger crowds with Wanted because we'll play we had more than a few shows where we're even just this year we're playing to thousands of people, right? So it's different, right? I mean, I have a ball doing the OMV show because it's new to me, and I'm obviously all the songs I'm playing I picked, so I know I'm playing songs I enjoy.
Sure.
The Astro Yacht show is it's so different from the other ones, and it's definitely more of like a party kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
It's whereas it's more inclusive, like it's like a whole kind of the crowd and the band and it's a full environment kind of thing. Whereas, and the Wanted show is it's a rock concert. It's a rock concert, right? So to compare the two are different. I enjoy all three of them equally. But there's definitely shows that I would enjoy more than others.
That's
Like
true.
we just had a weekend of shows with Wanted. We sold out 2 nights at Scottsdale, and we had two of the best shows we've had in 10 years. Like everything was clicking. The crowd was crazy. It was just like it was just an awesome 2 nights where and sometimes it just happens like that. And then there's and too, you played and sometimes you have it, you do a show and you think that was the greatest show I ever had and it went over. And then you have a show you think you had a horrible show and the crowd thought it was great.
That's true. You just never
Yeah.
know. It's like the mood of the crowd. It's funny because I think I looked you up on Instagram or one of those, and there's two bands, girlfriends of mine that are tribute bands that said they were following you.
Who?
The Aerosmith tribute band, Ragdoll.
Ragdolls? Oh yeah, this goes awesome. Oh
Oh,
my
I
God, they're
know.
awesome.
My
Who
friend,
who do you know?
gosh, I just heard the guitar player. Gosh, what was her name? I just totally forgot. She's not a
There's
close
more than
friend of
one.
mine, huh?
There's more than one.
Um, God, is she the rhythm or the lead? I can't remember. My friend Michael Blum is good friends with her, and her first name starts with an A, and I'm drawing a blank. Oof, anyway,
No, I met
sorry.
them all. They were all awesome.
Huh,
They were
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I went to see them at NAMM. I've seen them, a few times now, and they're really, and it's hard because the lead singer, who's not, I don't know her personally, but she does a really great job with the Steven Tyler stuff, and which
Mhm.
is hard to sing.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And then my
Definitely.
friend Jill Marie Burke, she does the Pat Benatar tribute band, and she's really good. She's a really good singer because I toured with her with the USO stuff. We've done a couple projects together, but she does a Pat Benatar tribute band, which is really good too. You know, she's like a perfectionist. She's one of those people that's like, it's got to be a good show, but the pitch has got to be really good. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're singing Pat, you can't suck.
Yeah,
I
she
mean,
doesn't suck.
that's not easy. That's
Yeah.
not easy. No, the Ragdoll Girls, they opened for us. We did a winery in Central California, in Hollister.
Yeah.
So cool. They it was a winery and they built an amphitheater into the side of the hill on the winery.
Where is that?
Hollister, like
Um,
mid Central California, like about
okay.
couple hours north of here. But yeah, they opened first there. They were awesome.
I'm trying to look up and see if I could see her name real quick, but oh God. Allie, that's her name. It just dawned on me.
Hmm.
Allie. To be honest with you, I think she does rhythm. Yeah, rhythm guitar. Pretty sure. Hopefully she does, otherwise she'll get mad at me. But that I'm playing lead, not rhythm.
Well, I think they switched back and forth.
Oh,
I
did
think
they?
they-
Okay, all
yeah.
right. But it's a great idea. And then another friend of mine, she was doing a female Kiss tribute band for a while. She was good, but
Oh, I've never heard of that.
yeah, she's doing something else now. But the tribute bands are all the rage.
Listen, we've played with I think two or three Kiss tributes, and
Hmm.
man, that's a lot of work. That is a lot of work.
Just putting
Oh my
that
God, the
makeup on.
yeah, hours. It takes them hours to put that stuff on, and the amount of money they spend to do the costumes and the staging gear. The It's astronomical. We did a show in Toronto with a Kiss tribute, and it was basically it was 8 hours for them getting it all together. I mean,
Yikes.
so much work, so much
It's
work.
funny. I know I was pretty good friends with Tommy Thayer, who was the real Kiss.
I know he is, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you know Tommy? Yeah.
Mhm.
He was their business manager for a long time, and then when Ace dropped out, he became the guitar player. You know, but it's so I was wondering what he thought about when because Ace just passed away, and I was wondering what Tommy, but he's very quiet. He's very he's very stoic, Tommy.
Okay.
Yeah, totally opposite. That's why he was good at business. It's a very rare combination. He's a really good guitar player and he's a really good businessman.
Well, last time I checked, Gene Simmons isn't stoic, but he's a good businessman, so
That's
it
true.
takes all kinds, right?
That's true. Yeah, I've talked to Gene a few times because he was at a couple functions that I was, and you just ask him a question and he will just like tell you for like a half hour. He loves to talk, which is
I get that feeling about him.
hmm hmm And then one night he was there with Paul and I was with somebody who said, "Oh, she saw you at the gym today," because I was at the gym, and Paul, I was saying I was doing yoga, and Paul was like, "Oh, I've always wanted to try yoga," and I just thought it was funny that I'm sitting here talking about yoga with Paul Stanley. So
Yeah, those guys are into a lot of things. They've always been into a lot of things.
Paul Stanley's a really good singer. I mean, just not just from Kiss, but I've heard him do other releases, like kind of 60s, I guess, or
Yeah,
70s.
I know he was he had a big Motown band for a while.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he gets high. He can sing. His range is
yes.
good. So it's kind of cool because he's into all that stuff like we all are. So you got a lot of gigs lined up in December, you said, right?
We have a couple of Astroyacht shows in a couple of privates and Astrayachts. I don't know. It's funny. I go to the shows and the people like we're doing meet and greets and someone will say, "What are you playing next?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And then there's
What's
someone else
today?
that's telling me, "You're playing here and there." I'm like the fans know more than I do. Um, yeah, it's strange. This whole year and going into 26, it's been almost like a flip-flop of years past, whereas the times when it's busy and the times when it's quiet. In our 26, it's funny. I think we have more Ask Yacht shows than wanted shows right now, and that's a
Really?
first.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because Yacht
Um,
Rock, I mean, it's been around now for a few years, but it's really starting to get popular. You know?
yeah, but listen, it's like when I started the Jovi band, I thought, oh, I'm going to start a tribute band and the work will be there. Like I'm playing Bon Jovi music, but I'll get gigs. Nope, it doesn't work like that. I have people ask me all the time about from the tribute band, like how to get it going. If I had known when I first started one, I've said this to people before, if I had known how much work it was going to be to launch that band, I would have done an original project. I just thought, you know, I'm doing tribute. There's great money in tribute band. There's, I don't know, I'm saying Bon Jovi, I'll go do it and then it'll be there. No, it took probably close to 5 years of opening, doing free shows, doing openings for other bands. We opened for a band called DSB a bunch,
Hmm.
and it's ironic that the path happens with most tribute bands, and that's how it goes. They did the same thing with Queen Nation. They opened for Queen Nation for a long time
Hmm.
to build up their following, and that was this. We got built up our following doing a bunch of openings for DSP. Um, the it's basically like anything else. You've got to promote yourself. You've got to, get yourself in front. It's, when you do, you can't expect to get instant reward from a show you do. It's going to come over time. It's all about, spreading the gospel. And, we always do, whenever they want us to, we always do meet and greets. You have to, meet the people, talk to them. We've made so many great close friendships over the years with people that come to the shows. It's just about, someone said to me when we were in Scottsdale a little while ago, they said this nice thing. They said, when we come to your shows, it's like a family.
Right.
It's like a family. We all, because, we know each other from other shows and we come and hang out together. Um, that's how you create a following. And then it branches off from that.
And your manager or this guy you were talking about that now you're with, that's also a big help, right? Your booking agent, is that what you were talking about? Remember you were saying that in the beginning of something and now you're back with this person. I thought it was a booking agent,
No, I'm thinking
manager.
of someone else.
No, you
They,
just,
I don't know
you
what you're
just,
talking about.
really.
We don't have a manager. We book ourselves.
Okay.
We use a bunch of different agents. I'm trying to think of who I might have been referring
You
to.
mentioned something in the very beginning. You said, "Oh, da da da," and then now it's come full circle. And
Oh, Dave Hewitt. Yeah, yeah. No, we just started doing work with Dave Hewitt. Yeah.
see,
But
I
no,
wasn't
that's pretty
imagining.
new. Yeah, sorry, no. Yeah, we hadn't done work with him I think we had done shows for him before, but he had gone through another agent that we used to
Mm,
work with. But all the shows go through us. We don't have a contract with anyone. We don't have any
gotcha.
exclusivity or
So no,
anything. We
if
just do
people that see this and want to book any one of your bands, they just go on the website, right?
Yeah, yeah. I can. Do you want me to give socials now or?
No, I'll put it under.
Uh,
I'll get it and I'll put it under the.
yeah, they can find me at any of the web addresses. They can find us on our Instagram. We always hang out. Hold on, let me. There's a point I'm making. Hold on.
Sure.
Here's a little.
Jerry's.
This is a tip for Vans starting out. I don't hand out business cards,
Okay,
especially not at gigs, because people forget them and they throw them
that's
away
true.
and what
Yeah.
have you. So instead of business cards, we always have. If you can see that, I don't know if you can
Okay.
see it. Yeah, we hand out guitar picks. So we have all our social info on there, and
Yeah.
then we have the
Oh, it's
logo on
upside
the other
down. Yeah.
side. And then we have the logo on the other side. Let me see. Let me get it up there. Let me see. Know where the
Awesome.
camera is on these things.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
So, and it's funny because every time someone reaches out, like that's at a show, they go, "Oh, I got your guitar pick." It's it's
well,
a
I just
little
thought of something
marketing
because
101.
yeah, this is goes on the podcast playground, which is only audio. So the names of the bands are Wanted, which is the Bon Jovi tribute band, Astro Yacht, which is the yacht rock band, and that's Astro Yacht. It's all one word, right?
Hold on, wait.
Wait for it.
Get a pick here.
And then
Actually, I get there.
OMB is the one man band.
Yeah, I should have been prepared with better guitar picks in my hand. Okay, here's the Astroyacht's pick.
Right? Uh-huh.
There's
Okay,
the
Astro Yacht,
Astroyacht's
yeah.
pick. Wait, I gotta dig out an OMB pick now. Wait, no, that's an air supply.
And
I went and did um, we did some the '80s theme cruises for Princess Cruise
sure.
Lines, and so I they had never had rock bands on there before, so I kind of was teaching the crew how to mix a rock show. So when they were doing a like a I don't know, it was like an anniversary thing, and they had hired Air Supply, and they asked me to go on the ship to be like a liaison with the crew and the backline company and the band and all that. And they were nicest guys. Oh my God, they were so awesome.
Air Supply.
An incredible show. That and you would think Air Supply is like really mellow and ballads, and that was a rock show. That band was
Really?
a rock show. Yeah, it was really impressive. Hold on, hold
Huh.
on. Here's my OMB pick. That kind of
Oh
blast.
yeah, OMB. Oh,
I'll give
Mary.
you I'll give you
Oh,
pics. You can pick I'll give you PICS pictures you can put on if you want.
yeah, yeah. O, O, which is, gosh, I can't think of the word for O, but M, Mary, and then B, Barry.
Yeah.
Oh,
One man band.
oh, that's right. Duh.
Yeah.
It was like, never mind. But yes, that's good. One man band. So cool. So do you ever get to, right now you said this month it's kind of mellow, so you get to relax a little bit.
Yes. I use the downtime to, shop gigs. I'm
Yeah,
always hustling, always
right.
hustling. Find new venues, or make tracks for the OMB show. And then or working on video for the other two shows to, the sync video. My partner Steve, who's the guitar player for both shows, we're always going. We're always, if we're not, we're and
Right.
it, I think, we're a good team. We both have the same work ethic on. We both, you know, we're always hustling and we're always making it the best we can. You know.
Yeah, I think you are very because the few times that I've, played music with you and stuff, I just feel like you're very we talked about it already, but motivated, but you're the opposite of lazy, let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I like to. We all have our days, right? And it's it's like what I look at it as, um, if again, like if you're doing something that a lot of people want to do, you've got to hustle. You have to hustle, and you have to have side hustle. And if I tell, if anyone asks me as a musician to try and make it, I want to do music as my job. You've got to have side hustles. You have to. If it's not a music oriented side hustle, it's something else. I when my daughter was born, I was doing disco at the time, and I remember thinking, I can't keep playing rock star. I got to go get a real job. I went to school. I went back to school to learn post production, and I remember what I want at the time. I had my roommate at the time was doing sound design for The Simpsons, and he was letting me, do little bits here and there with him. And I said, I need to go learn this for real. And so I found this. It was a trade school in Burbank called Video Symphony,
Hmm.
and so I went there to sign up for the Pro Tools program, and I walked in the door, and there was this video playing called The Cutting Edge, and it was all about video editing. And I watched this movie as I'm waiting for my appointment to sign up, and the guy he calls me, he's like, Mr. March, we're ready for you. And I go, I want to do that. And I pointed at the video screen. I said, I want to do that. And he goes, that's, X amount of dollars to do that program and all that. I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I'm doing it. It's kind of like when I just picked up and drove to LA from Florida. It was just like,
Right,
I want to do that. I'm going to do it.
right.
And it's been great. I mean, I being a musician, and what I came to find out is that musicians make really good editors because of timing and
Hmm.
beats and knowing beats and a breath. And I had a job. I remember having a TV job before I was even done school. Like I got offered from the stuff we were doing in class. So that became what was going to be my career change, became my side hustle, because I was able to still do both. The
And do you like
my
editing? Do you like editing?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Especially doing, cool stuff. Like especially if I'm doing a TV show or a movie. I just did a trailer for a horror movie that was so much fun to do, because you just, it's fun. There's definitely jobs where you do that are
More
more
fun.
monotonous than the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if it's helping you, if it's helping to fund your life, um, then you do it to make it so you can do other things. I remember I saw some on my feed. You just go like this. Everyone goes your feed, right? And it was a guy talking at, I think he was talking at Yale or something like that. And he goes, you want to make money or you want to have your dream job? Go be a law attorney from Monday to Friday, and then go be a DJ on the weekends. It's like there's times when work is, the point he was making is sometimes work isn't fun. Sometimes it's just
Right.
work, and you have to do it to pay the bills, and it funds you so you can do other things, right? Um, but that's why I say you've got to have side hustles, because if you don't, and you can't fund your music career when you need to make investments, there's times where I've had to invest money in all of these projects, and that if I didn't have the other things going on, I couldn't do that.
Yes,
So it's like anything, it's an investment, and there's times when you have to spend money to make money, and if you
that's
don't have
true.
that money, you cannot advance your business.
That's
So
true. And yeah, oftentimes, but you seem like you're living your best life, as they say, right?
I hope
Or you're,
so.
yeah,
I would like to think my best life is yet to come, but
yeah,
I mean, I'm definitely in a better shape than most.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's true. I
or
mean,
some. I should say I'd say most. Some. I enjoy what I do for my living. That's more than a lot of people can say.
yeah, you're not a miserable accountant. No, I'm kidding.
No, I know some pretty happy accountants actually.
Yeah, actually, that's I just my accountant, if he listens to this, silly. What do you mean miserable, my friend?
Yeah.
His name is Julio. Shout out to Julio. He's from Argentina, and he's like he's a really good guy. And but I think that if he could be a rock star, he would choose that instead of accounting.
I get that feeling from my accountant too. He's always asking me about shows and stuff. It's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, well, Jerry, thank you so much for coming on, and
Oh, my pleasure.
yeah, hopefully I will be doing another gig in the near future. I hope.
I look forward to it. Look forward to it.
And I'll list all the stuff underneath too. Your names of your various bands.
Thanks for having me, Kimber. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay, well, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you later.
Thanks. Take care.